everyone, it's Kim. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do meal prep. So I'm not exactly sure how much we're going to get done. I have a tight schedule today. I know that I want to try to get my snacks done today. I want to get some lunches packed. I've definitely got to get my breakfasts done. We'll see if I can jump into some of my dinner stuff, but other than that, I'm not sure. So stay tuned, come along with me while I prep, and hopefully I can give you a couple of good tips and maybe even a new recipe. So stay tuned, we'll see what we get into. Okay, next up I'm going to go ahead and get my pineapple ready for the week. I have a pineapple slicer with wedger, and I picked this up somewhere. I mean, it was just some random spot that we were out and about with. So you can pick these up, any brand. I'm not sure of any other brands. It's my first one I've ever owned. I just know it works, and I'm pretty sure most of the ones out there will work the same way. So it looks like this. Hopefully you can see that. And then it comes with this wedger. I've never used the wedger. I don't even know why I still have it in the box. I don't plan on using it, so I'll throw it back in the box and have it clutter up the box some more. So I'm just gonna go ahead, and if you've never had a pineapple or you've never done one, it's getting a little dry because I've had it on my counter for a couple of days. Just gotta cut the top off. And if it were in better shape, you could use it for a pretty garnish or something. I don't know what else you'd use it for. You could just toss it in the garbage and, again, not have any clutter sitting around. So we're going to set that off to the side, and we're going to take this little round piece and we're going to put it right in the core here. So I'm going to try to line that up the best I can. Push it down and start to twist. Can you see what's happening? And you just have to push and twist as you're going along. Push and twist, push and twist. And you just keep going until you think you've made it to the bottom. I think I made it, so I'm gonna see how that goes. Grab a kitchen towel here real quick. You can see the juice dripping here. How yummy is that? So here's the fun part. You have to grab it and pull. All right, then you just feel it give. Ready? Try to pull up as slow as I can. How does that look? Super yummy, right? There's your core. So you don't have that hard piece in there. It looks like I got pretty far down. Look, I'll see if I can give you a woo, as I'm dripping stuff all over my counter making jokes. So anyway, I'm gonna push this off to the side, and we're going to, I think I usually cut this off. I was trying to figure out how I got this off now that can you hear my Instant Pot sputtering in the background? Look at that. Nice pineapple slices ready to go. So sweet, so yummy. It's so much easier and cheaper than buying it, you know, already pre-cut up. How long did that take? And I think I only paid like $5 for this pineapple slicer. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this into a bowl and then get started on our watermelon. Okay, we're gonna do our watermelon next, and I just thought I would go over with you what I use and the reasons why I use it. So you're gonna need a watermelon. You're gonna need a super sharp knife that is long so that you can get bigger sections. Now I purchased this Rubbermaid container. See, Rubbermaid at Costco. It's just a regular, big, huge, looks like it is 40 cup capacity. So this makes it easy for me to do my whole watermelon and then dump it into the fridge so that it's all in one spot. I don't have to get several bowls and I don't have to separate it right away. So what I do is I pop my lid off, I put this in the sink, and then as I'm cutting it, I transfer it into the bowl. So you'll notice me doing this, but I don't think you can always see the bowl sometimes. So I'm gonna go ahead and put you back on my tripod and I'll show you. Okay, so this is how I cut my watermelons. I first slice off the tops. Open my garbage here. I flip it around, do the same thing to the other side. It's always easier for me to cut this way. Everybody has a certain way they cut, and sometimes when you're trying to get it on film, it's hard to position the camera and do it the other way. So I'll see if I can, I should do this on the other counter so my visual will be better. The first slice is always the most difficult because you have to cut a bigger section of the rind, but after that it goes pretty quick. So you're just going to continue to go around the sides of your watermelon, cutting out the rind, yet trying not to get too much of your watermelon in the process. Sometimes I will trim off the pieces I missed as I go along. Sometimes I will just do it all at the end. Just depends on how I'm feeling that day. It doesn't really matter. You can do it either way. I think I'm gonna have to sharpen this knife. I've been using it a lot lately. And you'll notice I have two cutting boards. I have a second cutting board over there so that when I get all the rinds cut off, I can use that one for the watermelon itself and then use the blue one to cut the slices. All right, that looks pretty good. Flip it over gently and check the other side. Just a couple spots on this side. Not too bad. Just let that fall in the sink, that's good. All right, so here's what I do. I bring it here. Just gonna switch. And then I cut a slice off. And you could do multiple slices, but I find it easier just to go ahead and do it this way. That way I'm not having to have it slide. So if you have two, the layers seem to slide a little bit more. So first slice done, dump it in my bowl. Another slice. You can make them as big or as small as you want. Sometimes I cut thicker slices and then I cut smaller chunks. Sometimes I cut thinner slices and I cut larger chunks. There's no right or wrong way to do it as long as you get it done. Now, if you don't do this and you just cut a piece every time you want it, it's not so easy. To me, this is a quick and easy snack. This is the reason why I do it this way. It's because it's a quick grab and go, and I don't have to think about grabbing something off the counter because I want something quick and it's going to take too long to grab a healthy snack. So to me, having the healthier snacks readily available saves me time and saves me a ton of points. Because you know as well as I do, it's easier to grab something bad than it is to grab something good, unless you're doing like I do and taking the time to prep those items. So you can see we've been going for, I want to say 4 minutes. Let me check the timer. Yeah, 4 minutes exactly so far. So in less than 5 minutes, I have a whole watermelon cube and ready to go. Now, another thing is if you're going to any parties, graduation parties, which I'm sure those are probably over by now, but if you're going to any family gatherings, use this trick. Volunteer to bring the watermelon, because having it already cut up is a wonderful thing. And you're bringing something healthy as well for yourself to snack on. So there we go. Watermelon done. I'll tilt you down, show you what we got, and we're at 4 minutes 38 seconds. And that was with me chit-chatting along the way. Okay, next up we're going to make some boiled eggs. So before I get started, I just wanted to chit-chat with you about the Instant Pot. Now, you guys know I love my Instant Pot. I use it all the time. But if you own one, you know that these rings will retain the smell of the previous item. So if you're making something savory with like garlic and onions, your ring will pick up that smell. It's silicone, I don't know. It just happens. I mean, it's a well-known fact. So I have 2 rings. So this one doesn't smell like anything because I use it for things like eggs and things like that. And then I know that this one is specific to, like I said, when I'm using garlic and onions. Now they do sell replacement rings. I do have an extra set here. I got a 3-pack from Amazon, and they sell them. I'll try to remember to put the link below, but they sell them in different sizes. One's for the 8-quart, one's for the 6-quart. I do have my second one. I've had my Instant Pot for, I want to say almost a year now. I've had my 6-quart, and I've had my 8-quart a little less time. I think I've had that like 6 to 8 months. So I'm popping that back in. And I always just tug on it to make sure that it moves and it's in there, if you can see what I'm doing. So it will just spin a little bit. So I know that that's in there. So that's about the silicone ring. So I'm popping the lid off. I just have normal large eggs from Walmart. You've seen those in my grocery haul. And inside my Instant Pot, you're gonna see that I have a steamer basket. Just gonna open that up. That's pretty cool, right? And it's like a slinky. I play with it all the time. So we're gonna put that in there. Try to get that a little closer for you. And then we're gonna go ahead and get our eggs in. So I'm going to do, I never know how many eggs I'm gonna need. 2, 4, 6, 8, we'll do 10 eggs this week. That looks pretty good. And then I have about a cup of water. You can see it's just a regular coffee mug. Just gonna pop that in there. And you always need to have the liquid in the pot to get it to come to pressure. So we're gonna pop our lid on. We're going to make sure our vent is on sealing, which it is. And then I'm going to, hopefully I can get you situated here. I'm going to, see, I was using my 8-quart this week, so then I have to like remember where the buttons are. We're gonna put it on manual. And we're going to bring that down to 5 minutes. So that's going to come to pressure. It's gonna cook for 5 minutes. We're gonna let that naturally release. So what that means is a natural release is you just let it sit for a certain amount, period. A little tongue tag today. So you're gonna let that sit for an extra 5 minutes. So it's called the 5-5-5 method. High pressure for 5 minutes, natural release for 5 minutes, and then I dump it into an ice bath or super cold water for 5 minutes. So we're gonna let that do its thing, and we're gonna come back with the next item I'm gonna prep for you today. Okay, up next we're going to prepare a couple of dinner items. I mentioned in my grocery haul that I was going to make sloppy joes this week, and I was going to make burgers or something, but I think what I might do is I may go ahead and brown up some ground beef and either add that either to my 1 spaghetti or 2, have it browned and ready to go for Big Mac wraps. I haven't decided which one yet. If we have the Big Mac wraps, I'll swap that out for the day that we were supposed to have burgers. But again, I'm just gonna go ahead and get these ready so that I don't have to worry about browning the meat. So I have a package of the lean ground beef. This is the 93.7. And did I calculate this one? I think this is going to be, I think I said 3 smart points, 3 or 4 smart points per serving. Or if you're doing the Simply Filling plan, it is 0 smart points on the Simply Filling plan. The second thing I'm going to be working on is my ground turkey breast. That's the 99% lean, and this one is part of the 0 smart point foods list. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these into the pans and then we'll get started. Okay, I have our packages open. I'm gonna go ahead and throw my turkey in the first pan and throw my lean ground beef into the second pan. I'm gonna grab out my food chopper and a wooden spoon for the other one. Really need to get a second food chopper, I guess. Food chopper is this, if you've not seen these before. I think I picked that up. Ooh, that one might be a Pampered Chef one. Yes, it is. It's my one from Pampered Chef. I know they sell them. They sell different brands, but those are the ones that I have. So I'm gonna go ahead and put our pans on and get those started. Now, here's a tip for you. I don't know if everyone does this, but my mother-in-law had taught me this years ago. If you make your ground beef, or in this case, the ground turkey on the stove, you can add water to your pans to keep not only the food moist, but second of all, to keep the oil from splattering. So you can do this with hamburgers, you can do it with anything that you make ground beef on, or turkey in this case. So I'm gonna go ahead and pour some water, again, into both of my pans. And this is really not going to change up anything. Actually, I think it just keeps everything moister. So I've got that in there. I'm gonna go ahead and let these get started. I'm gonna put some salt. I just have my salt and pepper grinders here. So I'm just gonna put some salt and pepper on these and let them go ahead and start cooking. I'll check back in maybe midway and show you what it looks like. And then we'll go from there. All right, I'm just giving these a stir. And I don't know about you, but I just don't think ground turkey looks super appetizing. Every time I cook it, I'm just like, wow. I'm glad it tastes good because it just doesn't, I don't know, maybe it's just me. So we're gonna go ahead and give those a stir. I'm taking the extra time to chop up the ground beef. So we're just gonna go ahead and let that do its thing. All right, I'm gonna switch gears and start making breakfast sandwiches next. Okay, we've got those in their ice bath. We're gonna let those sit for 5 minutes and then I will pull them out and those will be done and ready to go. I haven't decided if I'm gonna peel them or not this week. I may just peel them as I eat them, so that'll save me a step and cut down on some time today. But as a reminder, if you've not seen me do this before, the reason why I cook these in my Instant Pot is because they peel like a dream. Every egg, every time. So if you have an Instant Pot, give this a try. 5-5-5 method, you'll love it. All right, we're gonna get started on our egg sandwiches. And for those of you new to my channel, I'm using these egg cookers. You can pick these up at Walmart, Target, Menards, just about anywhere. I think Amazon even has them. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. And rule number 1, when you're using these, spray your egg cookers. Otherwise, you're gonna play heck getting them clean. Now you're gonna notice I have 5 bowls out here. Actually, I think I'm gonna grab one more because I think I might make myself one. We're gonna have 6 bowls out here, 6 containers. So we're gonna go ahead and start cracking the eggs and just placing them into the containers. So the reason why I do this is because of the fact that I don't want to have to stop, wash my hands, or stop and repeat this process. If I can do anything in an assembly line fashion, that's what I do. So it's easiest for me just to do it this way, and then it's done and over with. And just like that, we have 5 eggs. I'm sorry, 6 eggs. Oh, I can't count today. 6 eggs, done. So I don't have to touch that part again. The next thing I'm gonna do is I'm making his with bacon crumbles this week. I will have mine with a piece of Canadian bacon. So I'm gonna go ahead and put bacon in each of his. And did I mention these are for my husband? He takes an egg sandwich to work every day. Now you'll notice I'm really not measuring either because of the fact that he doesn't do Weight Watchers, and it doesn't matter if I put a tablespoon or a tablespoon and a half in his. So I'm just gonna go ahead and grab a fork, put some salt, and I'm just gonna put a little bit of salt in his. When I make it with the bacon crumbles, I don't put a lot of salt in it because the bacon has enough salt in it for, you know, for the sandwich itself. So just giving this a quick stir just to incorporate. You don't really have to scramble this in. And then I'm going to throw this in the microwave because I need to put salt and pepper in that one. I'm gonna throw this in the microwave for 45 seconds. And then I'm going to set them off to the side to cool, because you do not want to ever put these directly onto the English muffin when you're making these sandwiches, because it's going to make your bread soggy, and you're going to yell at me in my comments below because they taste bad. So trust me, let them completely cool. So I'm going to get these going in the microwave. I'll pop back on in a second, give you a preview, and then we'll see what's next. Okay, as I wait for that next one to cook, I'm gonna go ahead and show you what I do. I cook it for 45 seconds. I open my container back up. I take a spoon, because it's easier with a tablespoon. I transfer it to a plate, and I set that off to the side. And then I take the next one, I dump it in, and then I take it over to the microwave. Now, I have 20 seconds left on the microwave, so it takes me about 20 seconds to walk back and forth and to get the next one ready. So you can see it's just a quick process. Plus you get extra steps in. Bonus. Okay, as I pulled this last one out, I decided to go ahead and make myself 2, so I will have 2 egg sandwiches this week, just to make it easier on myself. And I'll have 3 breakfasts ready. I had made a couple of overnight oats on Friday, so I have those 2, so I have 1 more of those left over, so I'll have 1 overnight oats and then 2 breakfast sandwiches, and then I'll figure out what I'm going to have the other 2 days, hopefully before the end of this video, but I'll let you know. Otherwise, I may just make a couple of more overnight oats and just be done with that. So those are going to be our breakfast this week, and I'm going to now get back to making our sloppy joes, so stay tuned. All right, I have our hamburger meat draining in the sink. I like to just let that sit and drain as much as I can. So in the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead and mix up our sloppy joes. Now I know you guys love it when I come at you and I give you a recipe on this. So this is really good. You're gonna really like this one. Ready? So here's my recipe for sloppy joes. Here it comes. There it is. Manwich. Who doesn't love that? So the manwich is 2 smart points per 1/4 cup. So I'm going to get this can open and we're going to dump it in, warm that up, and I'll give you a snippet here in just a second. Okay, so I just wanted to show you, there's quite a bit in this can. It's plenty enough to cover the 1 pound of turkey that I have in there. So I'm just gonna pop this back on just to heat it through. And I like to do that so that the flavor has time to meld together, and then once it cools off, I'll put it in the fridge. And then when I reheat it, it just infuses that flavor even more. So I'm just gonna go ahead and give this a quick stir. We're gonna let that heat through one more time. The pan's still hot. The turkey's still hot, so this will just take just a second. So we've got that going. And if you have been craving Sloppy Joes and you've given up Manwich because, you know, it's a little high when you put this together with ground beef, try it with the turkey. Trust me, you will not be disappointed. So again, we're just gonna let that do its thing, and then I'll pull that off, and I'm gonna check my list and see what's up next. Okay, I feel bad tricking you on my Sloppy Joe recipe, so I'm gonna give you a recipe for real. So I have mentioned my coleslaw recipe several times in a few previous videos. This recipe came from my Weight Watcher leader, Susan, a long time ago. And the recipe I'm going to make for you today, I've changed it and tweaked it over the years, but the recipe that I'm making today is 1 smart point per serving. It does make 5 servings, and it only calls for a couple of ingredients. You've got a bag of coleslaw mix, some light Miracle Whip, 4 packs of the sweetener of your choice. In this case, I have Sweet and Low laying around. That's what I'm going to use. And then some salt and pepper. So it's a pretty simple recipe, but both my husband and I really like it a lot, so we make it quite often. So I'm going to go ahead and tear the top of the bag off and just dump that right in to my bowl. Going to add in my 4 packs of sweetener. How do you guys like the different angles today? Tried to change it up a little bit and give you some different angles on how I'm doing things. So you've been in my sink, you've been on my counter, you've been on my other counter. Depending on what I make later, I may have to grab my other tripod and put you on that one. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes. So anyway, back to my coleslaw. I'm just gonna add some, again, my salt and pepper grinders. I use these all the time. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of pepper, not much at all, because the coleslaw already has a little bit of a bite to it, I think. And if you add pepper, it just gets spicy. So just a couple of grinds of the salt. The next thing I'm gonna add is the Miracle Whip, and again, I just have the light version. We're gonna add a 1/2 cup of the Miracle Whip. Now this is how I do it. I stick my container right in there, and then I just start filling it because it's easier. Otherwise, it seems like it tips, and I have to worry about it. I think the original recipe called for more, but I think it was a little too creamy for my husband's liking, so we started backing it down. And I backed it down and finally got to a 1/2 cup, and that seems to be the magic amount for us. If you need a little more and it's not creamy enough for you, then by all means go ahead and adjust it and just adjust the points for what you like. So I'm just gonna go ahead and mix this together, and you're gonna wanna let this sit so that the mayonnaise seems to just kind of go through the coleslaw a little bit more the longer it sits. Not sure why, but it just happens that way. So again, just gonna go ahead and give this a quick mix, and then I will separate this into 1 cup bowls. This does make approximately 5 cups of coleslaw, and again, 1 cup servings. So 5 servings, 5 smart points for the entire recipe, 1 point per serving. Okay, I think I've said that enough. All right, so we're just gonna go ahead and set this aside, let it do its thing, and I'm gonna check my list. Okay, I have some leftovers in the fridge. I had some leftover beans and some chicken that I had made earlier in the week with some taco seasoning. So I thought what I would do is I would go ahead and use up those leftovers and throw together some lunches for myself for a couple of days next week. So I have the flat out wraps, and I'm just going to take and cut that in half. And make myself 2 burritos with that one. I have a little bit of beans left. I don't have a lot, so I'm just going to half these. And make myself some bean and chicken burritos. So I'm just going to throw a little bit on each of these. Trying to figure out if I want to do them this way or if I should have done them long way. We're just going to try this way. And just roll them up. Just going to throw some chicken on there. And again, the beans and the chicken are both 0 smart points. So I'll probably have more chicken than beans on these because that's what I have left over. You know what? I'm just going to grab another plate. Might make it easier if I just do them all together. Grab another flat out. Do the same thing. Throw my beans on. I really like it when I can use up my leftovers and not let them go to waste. I don't know about you, but it seems like anytime I cook, I always cook way too much. And it doesn't matter if I try to scale it back, and then sometimes I'm always afraid if I scale it back, then I'm not gonna have enough, and that's even worse. So just gonna throw the chicken on these ones. And again, assembly line. If the more you can do in an assembly line fashion, do that, because it saves a ton of time. I don't want to have to save this. I just overload these with chicken and just have a super high protein lunch 2 days this week. And I must have left my fridge open because it's beeping at me. Hold please while I turn around and make sure that's shut. All right. It's a good thing I have a small kitchen. All right, next up is the cheese. I am using the Kraft cheddar fat-free cheese today. I'm gonna grab me a 1/4 cup, measuring cup. I don't think I need that much, but I wanna make sure I don't go over. So I'm gonna go ahead and measure out a 1/4 cup of this. 1/4 cup is 0 smart points. So I'm just gonna throw some cheese on here. And I'm fine with not a lot of cheese. I'd say a little more than 1/8, but not quite a full 1/4 cup on those two. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing to the next one. And I'm not a big cheese person. I mean, I know that's probably weird, but I'm fine with that amount of cheese. All right, so the last thing we're gonna put on this is I have some Ortega taco sauce, and for 1 tablespoon, it is 0 smart points. So I'm just gonna take 1 tablespoon and divide it between the 2 of these. And one of my subscribers, I can't remember, I'm sorry who it was right off the bat, but they said that they added onions to their fake Taco Bell fake out burritos and said it was really good. I am not a huge onion fan. Sometimes when I go to Taco Bell, I will get it without the onions just because I can I can take them or leave them, and I would rather just leave them. So I'm going to set one of these aside and grab my container. And I know you're going to ask, but I got these containers on Amazon, and they're just the meal prep containers. Stupid cheap, super easy. So I'm going to take this and I'm just going to try to gently flip this into my container here. And then I will just heat those in the microwave when I'm at work, and I will have the bean burritos and maybe have a side salad with that. I'll figure out the side dish later. Maybe the bean burritos will be enough. Who knows? I'm gonna grab the other two now. Do the same thing with those. And look at that. And not only have I used up the leftovers, but now I have 2 lunches prepped and ready to go. So I think next up I will do my husband's sandwiches. And I'll do those off camera. I'm just going to make him some turkey sandwiches with cheese. And then maybe I'll take a picture of that after I'm done just to show you what those look like. So I'm gonna go ahead and get myself cleaned up over here, and then I will come back at you. We're doing great on meal prep today. I'm so excited. Okay, I have my grapes soaking in some water with some vinegar, so I've got those over there soaking. That'll probably be the last thing that I do, and I'll probably do that off camera. And I think the final item that I'm going to work on will be my candy apple salad, so that I can have that this week. And I'm just going to make a smaller batch of that this week because, as I'm moving things around, you can see me kind of trying to get things ready. Because of the fact that I'm going to make some of this Fiesta ranch dip, and then I'll show you what I'm going to do with that as soon as I get that done. So we're just going to set that off to the side. I'm going to need, it calls for 16 ounces of sour cream. I'm going to be using my fat-free Fage Greek yogurt for that. But I think I'm only going to be taking 8 ounces of this. I don't know, we'll figure it out in just a second. So let me just go ahead and get this started, and we'll just chit chat all the way through it before I try to explain what I'm gonna do when I really have it in my head decided what I wanted to do yet anyway. So I've washed my apples, but you can see that I forgot to take off the little sticker, which I am notorious for doing. Going to find my favorite knife, which I just washed. I really like, this is just a Cuisinart knife. I had got a set at Costco, and this is just the sharpest little knife, and I love using it for apples. So we're gonna go ahead and dice up some apples. I got a bad spot on that one. Let's cut the other side, see what that looks like. Same way, I'm gonna grab a new apple. I may even edit that out, we'll see. I might just leave it in, it doesn't matter. I'm just gonna give this one a quick rinse. Pull the sticker off, because of course there's always a sticker on there. And we'll try this one. This one is my new apple. The other one was from my old, from the ones I bought last week, so maybe they're past their prime. So I've got that. I also have my pineapple draining in the sink as well. So that'll be ready. You always want to drain your pineapple very well. Now I do have a recipe on my channel for this. So you can find that it's a standalone video for the candy apple salad. I'm all over the place today. What's wrong with me? Usually I'm a little more organized. I think because I'm rushed because I have things to do. Look, here's another sticker. I totally looked for that sticker and didn't see it. So yeah, I'm a little rushed today. We have a party to go to shortly, and I need to get this done before we go. So I'm just gonna go ahead and start chopping this apple in small pieces. And the candy apple salad only calls for 4 ingredients. It calls for apples and the sugar-free Jell-O cheesecake mix, Greek yogurt, and crushed pineapple. Sometimes when I can't find the crushed, I'll just buy the diced pineapple, and that works out well too. You just have to remember that you have to get it either in its own juice and completely drain it, or cut up your own pineapple, which you've seen me do earlier today, but I think I'm gonna just use that one for snacks, so I really didn't want to use that one in this recipe. Do I make you nervous with my knife skills? Because my knife skills are not great. I fake it pretty well, but yeah, they're really not that great. My mom would be totally cringing if she watched my videos. totally cringy. So we're just gonna get these off the board real quick. Dump those in there. Oh, sorry, that was probably really, really loud. I'll just eat this one. Now I think that this recipe calls for a Gala and a few Fuji, but I thought I would try Granny Smith in it this week to see how that tastes. So if I decide to do what I ate today, which I'm gonna try to do because I'm getting all kinds of requests for that. So if I do a what I ate today, I'll let you know how this was with the changing of the apple types in it. Now this recipe doesn't take long at all to pull together, but it is so tasty. I mean, so super tasty. And again, my leader Susan is the one that turned me onto this recipe. She is amazing. All right, there's our apples. Dump this last one in here. Set my cutting board off to the side. And then we're going to grab next. I'm trying to decide how I want to do this. Let me grab out 8 ounces. I think I'm just going to do 8 ounces and do half this packet of Fiesta Ranch. So I have my handy dandy little scale out here. So we're just going to turn that on. And if I turn that one on with the bowl in it, don't tell me it's not going to like this bowl. Sometimes things are too heavy and it doesn't like it. Nope. Let me grab a different bowl. Okay, back in business. So I went to scoop it. Guess what's in there? That little paper. I don't know why I find that so funny, but I seem to giggle about it every video that I use that. I don't know. I don't know. Whatever, right? Hopefully I'm not totally in your way. So we're gonna scoop out 8 ounces of this. Do you ever try to get exact? It never works out. That's fine. This fat-free Greek yogurt, 0 smart points anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So we're going to set that off to the side. And then I am going to move my scale. I don't think I need this right now. Off the camera. And then we're going to dump the rest of this in there. Now this is a 35-ounce container. The recipe calls, I think, for 32 ounces. So 35 minus 8 is 28. I think that's close enough for our purposes. So I'm not even gonna scale back anything. I think I was gonna measure out 3/4 cup or 3/4 of the package of cheesecake. And then I was gonna do 3/4 of the pineapple, but I think I'm just gonna dump everything in and see how it works out. So again, I should have shown you. I have, again, the cheesecake sugar-free box here. The entire box comes out to be 4 smart points, but this candy apple salad recipe makes 8 servings, therefore it is 0 smart points per serving. All right, I've got my pineapple drained, and if you want to see, let me dump this in first. I'll show you the can that I used. I have the Dole crushed pineapple in 100% pineapple juice, and I let that sit in my sink for probably, I don't know, 5 to 10 minutes, maybe a little longer, and just let that sit there and drain so that it would get most of that moisture out. So we're just gonna go ahead and start giving this a stir and incorporating those ingredients. And then I will separate this. See, look. Who's messy today? That would be me. I was trying to be clean today. Never whatever works. So I will go ahead and get this stirred up, and then I'll show you the final picture because I'm sure you don't want to sit here and listen to me stir. So let me get this stirred up and then I'll come back at you and we'll finish up our dip. Okay, got that on. I'm going to set my bowl here. I'm going to zero that out. And then I'm going to be using, again, this Fiesta Ranch dip. And this container here is 1.1 ounce. So I'm going to add 0.5 ounces of this dip here. This is so tedious. But you know, the minute you dump a bunch in, it's going to jump over your threshold. Okay. 0.51, close enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this over to this bowl. Hopefully I'm able to scoop. Hold on while I grab a spoon. Be able to scoop all that out into here without losing much of that powder. I probably should have done the powder here. Okay, I've got it all scooped out in a bowl here, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and start mixing this up with a whisk. And I know a lot of people will do this with the regular ranch dip, but I was at a party over the summer and my girlfriend had made this dip. She, of course, used fat-free sour cream, and she tried to make it healthy so that I would have an option. I thought I would try this with Greek yogurt. But the real reason behind this was because of the fact that I really like the Southwest dressing that they have at McDonald's on their Southwest salad. So here's my thinking, and this is where I'm going to need your help this week. I'm going to grab a cup here real quick and grab some water. I am going to take out some of this dressing, or some of this dip, and I'm going to make some dressing. So that looks probably about enough. So my thought is, and I don't know if this will work, but my thought is that if I take this couple of teaspoons here, maybe it's a couple tablespoons now that I have it out, and if I add water and thin it down, that it will turn into a nice consistency for like dressing. First of all, that's not going to work. So let me see if I can get it to stir in the water with this. I thought about using milk, but I wasn't sure if that would change the flavor or what else, so I thought, no, I don't want to do that. So it's probably way too much. Let me see if I can pour some of that off. Okay, just poured a little bit of that water off there. Yep, and here I go sloshing it all over my counter. Note to self, try to use a bigger container. All right, so that looks like a nice pourable consistency. So, told you, world's messiest cook. So I am going to apparently pour this into another container and clean up this mess. But I'm going to make myself a side salad to go with those burritos that I made earlier. And we will see how this dressing tastes. So I'm super stoked about trying this and hoping that this will, again, satisfy my need for that salad dressing. Now I have checked. I think that Paul Newman Southwest dressing, I think that's exclusive for McDonald's. I don't think they sell it. I have looked everywhere. So I don't know about you, but if you have an alternative to this, if there's a dressing out there that you've been using that is really good, let me know. But like I said, I really like the flavor of that one. So I'm going to see if this works or if it's close. So I will let you know that during the week too. My plan is to put some corn and black beans with some romaine lettuce and some of that fat-free cheese into a bowl. I don't know, maybe, I don't know what else I'll put in there, but for now, that's what I'm gonna put in there. And then pour this dressing on top, and I just think that'll be absolutely fabulous. So I am going to put these together. And I did say that this would be the last thing that I was putting together, but then I turned around and seen the eggs that were cooling, and I think I need to probably put our breakfast sandwiches together. So let me pull that stuff over, and then I will come back at you. All right, so I'm gonna get to work on our breakfast sandwiches now. I'm just gonna go ahead and cut these in half. Again, I have 5 for my husband, I have 2 for myself. And it seems like some of these are, I don't know, like they've been split, but some of them just don't split evenly. And every time I've tried to split them, I make a huge mess of them. So I find it easier just to go ahead and take a knife and cut them apart. So do you do the same thing, or is there an easier way? Let me know in the comments below if you found an easier way to combat getting these apart. Now, the English muffins that I'm using today are the Thomas's English muffins. You've seen me showcase those in my grocery haul. They are the Thomas light ones, and they are 3 smart points. As soon as I get these pulled apart, I'll show you a picture of the package. And then, let me just finish this one before again, my knife skills aren't the greatest, and if I try to do too many things at once, we will be having to stop the video really quick. So, these are the ones that I'm using. Here's the side of the package. They're the light ones. And my Walmart grocery pickup, they had to substitute those from the original ones that I had asked for. So I'm gonna go ahead and add in a slice, or actually a half a slice of the fat-free singles, the Great Value brand. And I only use a half a slice. I know I've mentioned this before because of the fact that if you use a whole slice, what happens is it melts when you throw it in the microwave, and it's really not even worth putting the whole slice on because it just melts away and falls off the side, and then it just makes a huge mess. So I have 7 of these, and I have an extra slice, so I'm just gonna make sure I put these over here, and that will go on my husband's. Now, since he has bacon in his, I have leftover Canadian bacon here. And yes, if you're watching, I do know that this is, oh, wrong one, called bacon over in Canada. They don't call it Canadian bacon. I didn't know that. So my cousin Laura over there told me that it's just plain bacon. It's not Canadian bacon. So good to know, right? Is it called anything anywhere else? I mean, I know that I have some viewers that are in other countries. Do you call it anything other than Canadian bacon, or do you even have that there? So I'm gonna go ahead and put his bacon and egg ones on his. And then I will put just the egg only on mine. And that's it. I'm just gonna throw the tops on here. I will throw these into some sandwich bags and get them in the fridge. So I think that's going to conclude my meal prep today. I am gonna go ahead and get my grapes ready, but again, I'm just gonna do that off camera so that I can speed this along. And I went ahead and put my hamburger meat in a container. I put my sloppy joe meat. I let that cool down. I put that in a container. I threw both of those in the fridge. So I think I accomplished a lot today. I have myself set up for a really good week. I know there are a few more things that I'll probably have to do during the week, but the majority of it is pretty much done. I know a few of you have asked me if I will film the fish in the air fryer. I will plan to do that for you. I'm going to be making, I think I have cod fillets. So I'm gonna go ahead and bread those and put those in the air fryer. So I'll film that and post that video for you, hopefully by next weekend. So with that said, I am going to sign off from here today. And that's about it. Have a great week. I hope that you picked up a tip or trick today by watching my videos. Okay, with that said, please like, subscribe, share, and we'll see you next time. Bye.